Hey, this is Wolf from Barefoot Bushcraft. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to show you how to take a Kydex knife sheath and attach a pouch and a ferro rod to it. So before we start, we need to assemble all our tools. For this project, you are going to need your knife sheath. Now, I don't have a knife in it. This was from a K-bar, but you can use any knife that you'd want. And then you're going to need, if you would choose, I like the ferro rod holder, so this is a Kydex ferro rod holder. You can get them online. I'll put a link in the description below for some of this stuff, and a little pouch. This is a Condor single mag pouch, but you can use any pouch that you want. I prefer the Kydex sheath over leather for a bunch of reasons, including that it doesn't seem to stay wet, like it dries out a lot faster, and there's a greater level of durability. Past that, you're going to need a hank of paracord and, of course, a couple of other tools. I'm going to need a screwdriver because the screws are the Phillips or the star-shaped screwdriver. So that's what I have all together as my toolkit. Now I can get started with my project. First thing I want to do is install this. This is my ferro rod holder. So it's going to go onto the side. It won't really fit this way. The screws, even though it comes with a set of screws, if I put these screws in this side, like this to hold it on, those screws are going to meet in the middle of this little sleeve-like thing, and they're going to butt together and they're not going to seal properly. So I'm going to take these screws out. I'm just going to use my screwdriver here. There's one. They're usually pretty easy. They're installed at the factory. They're not really hard to remove. There's the one. I'll take the other one out like that. So they're basically the exact same as these, but these have a little bit longer screw sleeve on them, or the bolt or whatever. But you'll see the new screws are a little tiny bit longer than the factory ones. So we're going to use those and just basically put these guys away for another project. So I'm going to take my plastic ferro rod holder. You can put it in any way that you want, up or down or left or right, whatever makes it comfortable for you. Because we're going to attach this to it, I want mine out of the way. So I'm going to put it down like this. I'm going to put my fingers in here, and you can see I get some movement right there, right? I'm just going to open that up and just basically push this in and line up the holes as best as I can. I look in there, I got my holes all lined up. Perfect. So now I'm going to take my screw bottom and put it in here like this. Make sure that it seats right in there. There we go. That little click tells me it's done. Find the long end of the screw and then basically just screw it in. That's my first step. Now my ferro rod will be installed once I get that second screw put in here. All right, so that's that. And then the same, put this one on the bottom like this. Right, jiggle and wiggle it so you hear it seat, and now put the other one in there. And they screw in. The nice thing is, if you ever need to unscrew it, or you want this little thing for another project, you've got it for another project. There we go. Get it all nice and as tight as I can get it in there. Perfect. All right, so the next step now, we want to put this knife sheath. As I say, this is probably from Condor Outdoors. It is just a common single magazine pouch holder. Of course, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be putting magazines in it. I'm going to be putting my own stuff in it when I'm done. So you can see this has kind of like a MOLLE adapter strapping on the back. And we're going to take it apart. And now what we need to do is we need to use this paracord here to knit this onto this. I'm going to start on one side. I'm just going to put this through one of the holes right there. Then I'm going to tie a knot in it. There isn't much clearance for this paracord to go through this hole right there, so the knot won't fall out. And that's it, just a simple overhand knot. Then I'm going to snug it up. Done. Take this guy out and just lay it on the top. Now you can see I'm going to take this cord and start wrapping it around, and it's going to push that on. So like this guy right there, put it through here. And you have to get a little creative on the back to try to make it stick. But there goes on that. Okay, I'm going to go through the back, and there's my first step. Now I'm going to go around the front like this and around the back again. Now what that's going to create is that's going to stay on there. Now I can go around the front again and around the back again and basically just weave this bugger on there. And once I get to a certain point, I can take this, put the molly through it, or Pal's webbing, or whatever you would like to call it to make you feel the happiest. All right, I see I've got a space a little bit in there, so I could, if I wanted to, put the molly wrapping underneath that, but then you may have a problem where your screws aren't going to attach properly. So be wary if you do that, right? And again, there's no real wrong way to do this project. It's just a fun project that I like to do. I like to keep a knife pouch on my knife sheath so I can carry all kinds of tools in it. Usually things like a ferro rod, stuff like that. Okay, so that goes like this, then onto the bottom, and then back around again until I start to get where I need to be with it. So it's pretty simple. And then I'm going to tuck this guy in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my cording through these two holes just to keep it all in place. And it's permanent. It's as permanent as you'd like it to be. If you want this on here at all times, you can take it on, leave it on at all times. If you need to remove it for any reason whatsoever, you can remove it. It's totally up to you, however you would like to keep it on. You also have a little bit of paracord on here. The reality is, though, I wouldn't want to take the paracord off, because if you take the paracord off, the pouch is going to fall off. And now you just basically have to continue this until it won't go on anymore. Satisfied with how it feels, you can simply take this and put it through one of these holes right there. Pull it tight, and again, what I normally would do is I would wrap a knot in it, just an overhand knot, cut the paracord off, and your little project is done. Make the knot nice and snug, like this. And that way it's going to keep your paracord in check. Now be aware, of course, if you put too much stress on it, paracord has a 30% stretch rate. Most paracord does anyways. So there we go. So now I can cut that off, or I can leave it on. And now I have a pouch on the front, so I can put my knife in here. And then in here, I can put everything from my ferro rod, fire striker, sharpeners, even some little fire straws, which are the straws with a cotton ball in it. Close that up, put my knife in here, and basically this project is good to go. And it looks good. It's nice and secure on here. It's not going to fall off. And on the back, it looks kind of nice. You can do it any different way that you want. If you don't like it like this, you can get as fancy with it as you want. This is just a nice quick job. As soon as I cut that off, this is good to go. So that's basically how to attach a molly knife sheath to a Kydex sheath or a leather sheath or a whatever sheath you want. So I am Wolf from Barefoot Bushcraft, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider subscribing.